Hello and God's blessings to you as we begin the season of Lent. And the season of Lent is all about preparing our hearts and looking to what Jesus is going to do for us on Easter. Just like Advent points and prepares our hearts for the coming of Christ on Christmas, Lent prepares our hearts for what Jesus is going to do on Easter. It's a matter of self-reflection. It's a matter of looking truly at who we are, knowing that we are sinners, and looking at what God did for us. It really is a time of forgiveness. Well, today is Ash Wednesday. It's the beginning of Lent. It's that first day of Lent, and it's a time in which we go to church. We get ashes on our forehead in the shape of a cross. We also get it symbolized on a cross on our hearts to understand that we are children of God, forgiven because of what He has done for us. He's redeemed us. Well, so what I like to do is a 7-part series here for the season of Lent, each Wednesday leading up to Easter. I'd like to do a topic of the 7 words that Jesus said upon the cross. And the first one He said is, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Can you imagine that? Jesus is up on the cross. He's hanging there for no good reason. He didn't do anything wrong. It's just because the people didn't like Him. And yet He's up there looking down at all the people that put Him up there. I'm sorry if you understand it. That includes me and that includes you. But all of us who put Him up there, He looks down and says, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." It reminds me of the story. Can you picture the story of the woman caught in adultery in John chapter 8? You see, this woman is drug out into the streets, and there's plenty of evidence to say that she's committed adultery, and the law of Moses states that she should be stoned to death. And so they bring Jesus out, and they want to kind of see what Jesus is going to do in this situation. Well, Jesus, what are we going to do with this? And can you picture this woman, like she's sitting there, and she sees Jesus bent down, and she's probably sitting there going, "Well, I guess here comes the first stone. I deserve it. Here it comes." But that stone doesn't come. Jesus doesn't bend down to pick up a rock. Instead, Jesus bends down to write in the dirt. And all the people are like looking at him going, "What is going on? What are you doing?" I mean, they've all picked up the rocks. They're ready to go. I mean, they probably warmed up, they're ready to go just like baseball. It's spring training. All right, here we go. We're ready. And Jesus continues to write in the sand. And you could this is like, can you imagine the anxiety that this woman has? I mean, she's pretty much like, I deserve this. I should be condemned. I don't want it to happen. She's probably scared to death, fearful of her life because it's about to end. I mean, that's what the law states. And yet, Jesus still writes in the sand. And finally, Jesus looks up and says to everybody, "All right, well, he who has never sinned, be the first to cast the first stone." And you can imagine the woman sitting there, "Okay, all right, well, fine, here it comes. And then she hears the sound of rocks falling to the ground. And she probably has that picture in her head like, "Oh no, here it comes. But nothing's coming." So she maybe takes a glance out and sees that the noise that she heard of the rocks coming to the ground weren't them missing her. It was all the people dropping the rocks. Because Jesus said, "All right, fine, he who has never sinned, if you've never sinned, go ahead and toss that stone." But the older people knew right away what he was saying. "That ain't me." I mean, I can picture some of the younger crowd, right, sitting there going, "Okay, I don't care. Here it goes. And then realize, you see all the older people dropping their stone, and yeah, okay. And they drop their stones as well. But now here comes the time for Jesus. Can you picture this woman as well? She's sitting there going, "Okay, well, I know he can throw it. It's still not over. He can certainly throw the stone many times, and I'm done. So here it comes." But Jesus doesn't do that. Jesus instead says, "Well, hey, where did everybody go? Did they not condemn you?" And she's like, "No, And Jesus looks at her right there. What a powerful moment that must have been for this young woman. Well, neither do I. You see, Jesus didn't come to this world because he hates us and he wants to be mean to us. He wants to cast a stone. But I will tell you, I don't know why he doesn't do it, because I deserve it. Everybody else in this world deserves it. Why not do it? He said he wouldn't flood the world again, but why don't you come by fire or come by stone? Why do something else? Because that's what we deserve. But he doesn't give it. He gives forgiveness. His whole ministry began, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is near. And here it is, he tells this woman, I'm not going to condemn you either, but I don't want you to keep on sinning, so go and sin no more. Get out of your life of sin. And now we don't really know much more about this woman, but I have to imagine that she did leave that life of sin. Not that she never sinned again. She left that particular life of adultery behind. Yeah, we're all going to still sin, but she left that one behind, and she understands true forgiveness. And here it is, back to what Jesus said on the cross. He's hanging up there. He says, Father, forgive them, for they now know not what they do. What a true statement that is. We really don't know what we're doing. I pray that we can start understanding. I pray that we can truly prepare our hearts, self-reflect, and repent of the things that we have done, and look to God during this season of Lent. May God's blessings be to you. We'll see you next week.